everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Drawing with DJ. Last February, I put out a poll saying which team you guys would like next, and the Guardian. I need to figure out how to close these things. At the time, it was the Guardians who were winning the poll, not the Invader Society. I guess I know who I'm doing next then, huh? Oh yeah, so for this video, I'm combining Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy with DC's Rebels or Legion. I don't know, there's a lot of overlap between those two. Peter Strange lived a quiet life with his single mother Meredith in rural Missouri. Whenever he asked his mom about his father's whereabouts, she'd always give him the same made-up story about his dad being some sort of alien king. One evening, however, he would begin to question it. His mother was acting anxious and called him into her bedroom. She had what appeared to be some sort of high-tech briefcase on her bed. "Peter, I know you've always wanted to know who your father was. And I know you've gotten a bit too old to believe in the whole alien story, so I thought it was finally time that I show you this." She handed her son the case. What is it?" Peter asked. "I'm not entirely sure, Peter, but your father wanted me to give these to you whenever you became a man." "But, Mom, I'm only 15. "I know, Peter, but there isn't much time left." Meredith looked through the telescope she had hanging out of her window. Mom, you're acting weird again," Peter said, worried. "They're almost here, Peter. Your father said they might come for you one day." "Mom, who are they?" A bassy thud came from outside. "Basement, now," Meredith demanded, grabbing the shotgun from under her bed. Peter grabbed the case and fled into his room in the basement. In the hurry, he tripped on a rug and broke his nose on the concrete floor. When his nose blood dripped onto the case, it opened, revealing a pair of cylindrical devices. He grabbed one, and its shape shifted into a form of an almost horseshoe shape with sights and a trigger. Hearing a shotgun blast outside, he knew what he had to do. Outfitted in paintball gear, Peter grabbed his MP3 player, blasted his favorite band, the Atomic Lords, to calm his nerves and hype him up, and climbed through the basement window. Humanoid aliens with insect-like wings and high-tech armor had his mother surrounded. To her dismay, her son caught their attention by blasting them with a sloppy spread of energy bolts. As they closed in on him, he prepared to give them his all. Then there was nothing, just a cyan void. Was it some sort of afterlife? If it was heaven, where were the pearly gates? If hell, where were the fire and brimstone? As soon as he was sent there, he emerged in a new place, a laboratory. The scientists appeared to be human, but something was off. After grabbing one of their top xenolinguists, they were able to explain to him that he had been teleported to the planet Ron by mistake. Over the following years, Peter would integrate into Ronian society. While learning their history, he would find that the aliens who attacked his previous home were some of Ron's sworn enemies, the Thectagarians. After 9 years, Peter would face them once again as they invaded Ron. There were legions more of them since the last time they had faced off, but this time Peter was no longer a scared child. He equipped his bright red suit, strapped into his sleek jetpack, and donned a flight helmet retrofitted to wirelessly connect to his old MP3 player. He started playing the same song he did nearly a decade ago and readied his twin elemental blasters. Peter was already locally famous for being the alien boy sent to Ron by mistake, but his bravery and zeal during the invasion would earn him global reverence as legends of the man who took out entire plumes of Thectagarian invaders by himself spread. He would be recognized as a hero, and would give himself the name of Atom Lord after his favorite band. Over the next few years, stories of Ron's champion would make their way across the galaxy. I doubt there are many people wondering why I decided to fuse these two characters, as they're so similar. Powers and ability-wise. Backstory, there's a little bit of differences, with how they got into space, all that sort of stuff. The part about making this design is that, area-wise, he's, mostly Adam Strange, but the few parts that are Star-Lord, you have, the most detail, so it kind of draws your eyes to it, so it still looks like a 50-50 fusion, even though, area-wise, it's, 90% Adam Strange, 10% Star-Lord, but the parts that have more detail kind of dry the eyes more. So, yeah. Effort-wise, it was also, 50-50, but I don't know. I just thought it was, a funny detail. And also, if you can tell, his name is Atom Lord, A-T-O-M, not A-D-A-M. Unfortunately, Adam Strange, to my knowledge, to my research I've done, he didn't have any sort of other aliases. Maybe I missed something, let me know if I did. But yeah, so I was originally going to have his, civilian name be Adam Quill, but then while I was, doing, the backstory, I realized that Adam's parents don't make any appearances or anything, because he got most of his, most of his story takes place as an adult, so they're not really relevant. So I ended up having to switch his name from Adam Quill to Peter Strange. So, then you can get, Meredith Strange, That's pretty much all the family has on Earth. But like, I don't know. Like, what was I gonna call her? Just like make up a name. Like, no. Yeah. So no, it's ATOM because it kind of sounds like Atom, especially with my American accent. Really want to stretch it? You can say he has like element blasters. Atom elements, but like, they don't mean element in the same way. Like the 4 classical versus the 118 or however many they're on now. Kind of took the part of the backstory from the 2021 video game where he just takes the name from like a band. Yeah, so yeah. With all of that out of the way, we have Peter Quill, aka Atom Lord. In the vast expanse of space, a massive skull-shaped cruiser makes its way towards its destination in no hurry. Within it, a despot sits upon a throne. The Green Titan, Phil Dox, better known as Brainos, is accompanied by his 2 daughters, Vrilora and R.E.B.E.L.S. The ship's alarms began to blare as they were attacked on all sides. Brainos and his daughters let the ship's guards deal with the invaders, but as the ambushers overpowered the guards, their numbers appear to grow in the ship's sensors.
Vrilora, R.E.B.E.L.S, see to it that these vermin are dealt with,
The Titan commanded. Vrilora took the port side as her sister took starboard. She was met with the ship's guards, as well as Kree and Thectagarian warriors attacking in unison, with metallic one-eyed stars stuck to their faces. They were numerous, but would go down as soon as the stars were destroyed. After dealing with the threat, both sisters reported back to Brainos.
How many?
Asked, gesturing towards R.E.B.E.L.S. 276, sir. He then gestured towards Vrilora. 302, sir.
R.E.B.E.L.S, return to your quarters. Vrilora, I have a mission for you. You must locate the source of these mechanical nuisances and report back to me as soon as possible. Understood?
Affirmative, sir, she answered before leaving. In her ship, she began looking up various criminal records pirated across Green Marvel and Nova Hunter databases. She flew to Nowhere, a bustling port formed out of a giant severed head. She parked her ship and made her way to a dive bar in Warlock City to recruit a team. A weapons detector prevented her from bringing in her many concealed weapons. As she sat down, she smelled something that reminded her of rotting flesh. "Oi!" a rough voice called out from behind her. "Ain't you one of Brainos' girls?" Vrilora remained silent and appeared to fidget with some cutlery and a receipt spike as the 3 pirates moved in around her. "Oh, Grasnick got your tongue, love. You know you just got a mighty old bounty on your head. Why don't you come with us, and we can take you alive?" As she felt the cold touch of a blaster push against her spine, she slammed the receipt spike into the leader's middle eye before slamming his 2 goons into each other. She then grabbed the blaster and shot all 3 of them in the chest. As the remaining patrons of the bar attempted to take the bounty on her head, they began to realize they were no match for the most dangerous woman in the galaxy. Soon it appeared that she and the cowering bartender were the only ones left in the building, until a flush came from the restroom. A Terran man in a red suit came out, still buckling his belt. "All right, what's all this ruckus about?" he yelled. "You are Atom Lord, are you not? Former champion of Ron, who saved millions of lives during the Thectagarian invasion from 7 solar cycles ago? Who wants to know? Also, how'd you find me? I'm a 10th level intellect, Mr. Strange. It takes more than an illegally altered identification chip to hide from me. I do, however, require some assistance with a more challenging task." She pulled out a mechanical star from her coat pocket, still covered in viscera, and dropped it on the booth table. "I have been tasked with locating the source of these things. I believe they may originate from Thectagar, judging by the distinct construction techniques used. They do, however, be far more advanced than anything I've ever seen from that planet. As someone who has dealt with them on multiple occasions, I conclude that you may know more than what I could scrape from the databases." Atom Lord held the star in his hand. "You know who this tech actually reminds me of? There was a hero on Earth back in the day called Hornet Man, an advanced scientist who created technology that let him and his wife shrink themselves. Both of them had bug wings and were probably Thectagarians in retrospect, but they both went MIA fighting the Hydra Brigade. That may actually explain some inconsistencies in my findings. If my current hypothesis is correct, we may need more allies. I think I might know a couple of guys who can help," Atom Lord suggested with a smirk. Alright, I won't be as surprised if there are people who are confused why I chose these 2 for a fusion. That is Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy and Vrilux 2 from Legion and Rebels. Most people just think it's because they're space characters and also green, but there's a little bit more to that. Mostly it's because of who they're related to. Not sure if I'm going to spoil who that is, who Brainos is supposed to be a fusion of. I feel like it might be obvious. But yeah, it just kind of worked out. I didn't even know who the rebels were back when I decided to create Brainos. So it was just a kind of a happy coincidence that it all worked out like super well. So yeah, that's why I combined those two. And it just also helped to work out that both green aliens part of the team. Art wise, despite being the least favorite drawing I've made for this video, I'm still happy with it, which is a really great thing you can say about any like group of drawings, you know. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. There's some things I'm not super thrilled about. Like I feel like her right hand could be holding like a gun or something. I didn't really think that through. Uh, and also her jacket, I'm not really sure. Like the material of it, it's like hard to tell like what the qualities of it are, kind of, if that makes any sense. Aside from that, I had fun with it. I kind of took inspiration from her like old school comic, like Gamora's old school comics and the MCU, and also gave her like giving her like red highlights, but also the yellow eye markings. And I think her red highlights look really good with R.E.B.E.L.'s blonde hair. Really, and also the blonde hair kind of matched her yellow markings. It all like tied together really well. I had fun drawing the little sword. It's not really based off of anything. I don't know. She has like multiple sword designs throughout like the comics and the MCU and all that. So I just kind of made like a vaguely cool looking sword, but just threw some weird like greebling in on it. Makes it where it doesn't look like too much like just a generic Earth sword. Maybe I could have done a little more with it, but I feel like it's good enough. I don't know. Maybe next time I'll like give her something cooler if I ever redraw her. But yeah. With that, we have Vrilora Dox, 10th level intellect and the most dangerous woman in the galaxy. Which in turn would allow him to use hypothetical nth metal particles to explain the temporal fractures. We're here, Adamlord interrupted. In the distance, a pod of what appeared to be Earth dolphins swam through the vacuum of space off in the distance. While intelligent by non-sapient standards, I hardly believe that these creatures will be useful in our pursuit, Vrilora said, confused. I'm not here for them, V. As they continued forwards, an explosion hit the side of the ship. Several smaller explosions hit the opposite side. Ah, flark! I may have forgotten to bring up a detail that was probably a little more significant than I had previously thought. I'm guessing that you two weren't on good terms last time you met. Bingo. So now it's time to buckle up. Adamlord enacted invasive maneuvers while Vrilora attempted to connect the assailant's comms network. After establishing a connection, a monochrome raccoon on what appeared to be a flying motorcycle immediately responded.
Range you fragging Scott ain't badness. I ought to blast you and your keys in the kingdom flarkin' come after what you did.
What exactly did you do, Strange? Vrilora asked while opening up the creature's files.
I'll tell you what he did. He ruined my damn collection.
Please tell me that this is what you third level intellects refer to as a practical joke, Vrilora interjected. Coyhete, for the last time, it was an accident. How was I supposed to know that Gragmites ate tobacco?
What do you mean you didn't know? That's their whole fragging deal, you scut-brained moron.
Vrilora pushed Peter out of his chair and took over the comms. Enough of this, feline. We came here for your assistance, but I have come to realize that a second-level intellect such as yourself would become a liability. We are leaving now.
Feline? Second-level intellect? I'll show you second-level intellect.
Vrilora turned to Adamlord to explain the intricacies of reverse psychology, seemingly oblivious to the angry vermin headed full speed towards the front of their ship. After impact, Strange managed to grab his jetpack and bring Vrilora to the surface of the nearest planet. Upon landing in a forest clearing, Vrilora spotted something following him through the atmosphere. It was Coyhete landing his vehicle in a nearby tree. The pair made their way to the crash site, only to see it abandoned. Adamlord switched on his thermal visor to reveal that Coyhete had haphazardly thrown traps all over the surrounding area. He'd set one of his blasters to ice to freeze every trap he found. Soon he would find a raccoon-shaped heat signature in a tree across the creek. It promptly flipped him the bird while lifting a gun larger than he was in his other hand. As they tried to flee the spray of energy bolts, one hit the backup switch on Adamlord's jetpack and sent him flying headfirst into a tree, knocking him unconscious.
You're not the only one with thermal vision, Strange,
Coyhete gloated from across the creek. That gave Vrilora an idea. Vrilora grabbed Peter's arm and used his ice blaster to lightly freeze them, making them invisible to Coyote's thermal vision. As he tried to find them, Vrilora snuck up behind him and slapped one of his proximity mines onto his blaster, destroying it. Coyhete grabbed a long piece of shrapnel and shaped it into a hook, while Vrilora unsheathed her blade. Coyhete was nimble, agile, and surprisingly strong for his size, but Vrilora was a 10th level intellect, trained for combat since she learned to crawl. Eventually she managed to flip him into a creek, where he would have drowned if she wasn't there to pull him out. When Vrilora was combing through Coyete's files, she learned that he lived by a strict moral code. Part of it was that he was loyal to anyone who saved his life, and he had yet to add a clause for people who were also the reason he needed to be saved in the first place. A critter of his word, Coyhete jury-rigged a sidecar made out of nearby scraps and joined the team on their mission. Now this I feel like is the most obvious fusion out of the bunch. Not really design-wise, but personality-wise. You know, they both love, Rocket and Lobo. Both love using made-up swears, they love big guns, don't really care too much for the law, despite both their original appearances being kind of different. With Rocket being intergalactic rehab worker and Lobo being Space David Bowie or something. They basically kind of converged into the same character, so I thought it would be a perfect fusion. The name was a little tricky to come up with, but I originally wanted to go with something halfway between a wolf and a raccoon. If you don't know, Lobo is the Spanish word for wolf, even though in the DC lore it's more incidental. It's like a Zarnian word for miscreant or something. I don't really remember off the top of my head right now. And if Zarnians you don't know, it's Lobo's species. But yeah, so I decided to go for the Spanish word for rocket, which is Coyhete. But then I realized that's really close to Coyote, which is the Spanish word for coyote, which is similar to a wolf, So I decided to just combine the two. Hopefully that comes off cross well. I think a lot of people like the name. I thought it was clever. And also it kind of sounds like Coati, which is a relative to raccoons, but that was not planned. All kind of just fell into place. And art-wise, I think it might be my favorite of the video. It was a little tricky at first, but eventually I think I got down the whole animal head thing. The mouse is really tricky. Big props to furries for figuring that shit out, because I would not have been able to figure that out if I hadn't seen what Sonic the Hedgehog or anything like that before in my life. So yeah, just giving them the Sonic face meat there really kind of rounds it out. It makes it a little bit easier to draw. Tell that its snout's there. Even though a snout's not that long, because raccoons don't have that long of snouts. But yeah, really fun doing all the fun little details. It's fun in the opposite way that Adam Lord was. Got him a whole bunch of little details. Basically gave him Lobo's outfit, but I traded in the weird iron cross thingy with the Guardian symbol. Just made him give him Lobo's Rocket with Lobo's coloration. Gave him the red eyes. He already had Lobo already had weird eye patches, kind of like a raccoon. So I just made the eye patches more of the shape of Lobo's eye patches, not eye patches, eye, eye markings. Gave him Lobo's haircut, a little spiky hair, and then also gave him a gigantic gun that's bigger than he is, which I thought was fun. Even though I think I messed up a little bit on the barrels, but it's whatever. It's not the main focus. The main focus is Coyhete. Also give him a little cigar. The smoke was really fun to do. So yeah, it's probably my favorite of the whole video. Really happy with this video in general. There's not a single one I disliked. Even my least favorite, Vrilora, the last one, I still feel pretty proud of that one, even though I feel like I could have done some things better. So overall, yeah, favorite of the video. Not too much else to say, and yeah. Without further ado, we have Coyhete. Hey, so Coy, where's your bud? Strange asked, crammed against Vrilora like a sardine.
Which one you talking about? Most well-adjusted folks have more than one friend, right?
The tall one.
Strange, I ain't sure if you noticed, but I ain't exactly a giant, so that ain't narrowing it down for me.
The electric tree guy, Coy.
Oh, Treebulus. Yeah, he's locked up right now. I was gonna get him out right after checking on my dolphins, but you two flockers had to drag me into your big shabam.
So we should change course and bail him out then, Vrilora asked.
We're already headed there, sweetheart.
So how big's this bail, Coy?
I don't know, Strange. I ain't gonna pay it,
Coyhete answered. turning his bike's cloaking device on. It arrived at an asteroid belt, which held the prison. Strange and Vrilora noticed many hidden turrets poking out from the floating rocky debris.
Yeah, you see all that? I bet y'all are real glad I took the time to extend the cloaking device's radius to your sidecar. No need to thank me. I do it because I care.
The two rolled their eyes at him. He flew into a significantly larger asteroid.
Here it is. Now, does anyone have a plan on how to get in?
Vrilora shifted her eyes towards Coyhete. I most likely could have done so if you would give me any details about your plan before you brought us to this kill-on-sight zone.
You know what, fair. We only got about 15 minutes to come up with one before the cloaking device runs out of juice, though.
After 13 minutes, they had almost come up with a plan, but the cloaking device shut off.
What happened to 15 minutes, Coy?
Adam Lord yelled.
I was rounding up, sorry.
Why would you round up in this scenario, Vrilora asked.
I don't know, and raking me over the coals ain't gonna fix nothing.
The trio proceeded to turn themselves in to avoid death and were promptly incarcerated. In the mess hall, Coyhete found him, a 25-foot-tall, eyeless beast with bark for skin.
I am Treebulus,
Yelled angrily.
Sorry, pal, these two bastards just slowed me down on the way back.
Coy said, gesturing towards Adam Lord and Vrilora.
But don't fry 'em, though. They were trying to help me bust you out. But I kind of maybe let Strange frag up the whole mission. As team leader, I vow to never let that happen again.
I am Treebulus.
Treebulus announced excitedly.
Well, if you ain't the most popular little sprig, who are they?
I am Treebulus,
He said, waving over to his new cellmates. A tall, broad-shouldered, pale green golem with red markings introduced herself as Straxa the Crusher. A pink man with a metal plate on his head and one arm introduced himself as Amandu.
I am Treebulus.
Treebulus said, as quietly as he could, before the six of them huddled together to form a plan. Coyhete swallowed his pride and started performing a cute little dance to distract the wardens, while Treebulus grew a prehensile vine from the prison's extra-large convict wing into the prison's generator. He then sent a Kurt through the vine to overload it and fry the whole prison's power supply. Vrilora and Straxa started right in the yard as a diversion, while Adam Lord and Amandu broke into the contraband room. Adam Lord grabbed all of his usual belongings and Vrilora's sword, while Amandu equipped a prosthetic arm cannon and metal head fin before grabbing Straxa's hammers. Sorry, Coy, couldn't find your gun, Peter said, while he and Amandu threw Vrilora and Straxa their weapons.
No problem, Strange,
He yelled while cocking a plasma rifle he acquired from a guard. The team made their way to the impound and grabbed the fastest-looking ship they could find that could still fit at least 5 people in a tree. Amandu hopped in Coyete's sidecar and helped him fend off the guards with his whistle-controlled arrows, while the rest of the crew escaped. After the authorities appeared to give up, Coy docked his bike in the cargo bay, and he and Amandu met up with the rest of the team. So a lot of you might have already guessed who the Marvel half of this fusion is. It's obviously Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, and that one, back when Marvel did like kaiju comics, there was another character called Groot who may be the same species and has the same name, but I'm pretty sure they've confirmed that it's a different character. I'd be really surprised, however, if any of you had heard of Treebulus before watching this video. I was originally going to combine Groot with Strata, who had appeared in Legion and Rebels, so it's probably be a little more well known, and also because I thought a wood character combined with a rock character would be kind of cool. But eventually I changed my mind and decided to go with Treebulus because they're both like big characters. They both have limited vocabularies. I also had a great idea for a name fusion, just replacing the part of Treebulus with tree because Groot's a tree. Not my most clever, but like far from my least clever name. Art-wise, it was actually like super duper simple to do. I basically just drew Treebulus with like a Groot coat of paint. I made his limbs woody. I gave him like some tree branches coming out of the back of his head. Made his tongue green. Made his uniform Guardians of the Galaxy colored and give him the little Guardian symbol. It's really simple but also really fun. Also, I made him like a lot bigger than the other characters, like pixel-wise. So I can when I do like the big group shot at the end of the video, which I kind of forgot to do in the last video, but don't tell anyone, please. He looks normal. It doesn't look like blurry when I blow him up. So because I basically don't have to blow him up. Looks very smooth. I really like how it kind of works well with my rendering style. So that's great. Without anything further to do, he is Treebulus. As the team fled, Vrilora noticed 3 blips tailing them on the radar. She checked the stern's camera to see that the leader of the trio was a green marvel, and instructed Adam Lord to set the ship to warp drive to avoid them. After the warp, a star-shaped portal opened inside of the ship, and a Terran green marvel, a genetically altered Tamaranian, and a shadowy swordswoman emerged. Everyone on both sides readied their weapons. I am Green Marvel Carol Jordan of Sector 2814, and I am here to apprehend Vrilora Docks and anyone else affiliated with the interdimensional cybernetic being known as Startron, the Green Marvel said, using a ring to create a hologram of said being. Vrilora instructed her team to lower their weapons. Captain Jordan, I assure you, I am no affiliate of this Startron, she said, dropping the broken star onto the floor. In fact, we may have a common enemy. After expositing the details of her quest to the trio, the Green Marvel's allies introduced themselves. The Tamaranian introduced herself as Kari Chavez, aka Miss Star, and explained how she was given the power of portal creation for the purpose of smuggling Startron's minions across dimensions. She also explained how Startron teamed up with her sister Blackspot to continue his endeavors. The swordswoman was R.E.B.E.L.S, aka Vortex, daughter of the late Green Marvel, Marlon Velt, who had given Carol her power ring. The two teams traded information they had on Startron. Vrilora scratched her chin. Well, if this Janiera you speak of appeared to travel through time by roughly 60 of Earth's solar cycles, then it is feasible that Hornet Man may still be alive, shrunk and small enough to slip between dimensions. If you're right, then I'm going in to save him. He was a friend of Captain Velt and the love of one of my greatest allies, Green Marvel chimed in. Vortex, you two aid the Misfits distracting Startron, while Miss Star and I go in. Once they were all ready, Miss Star focused her power into creating a large portal, big enough for Startron to fit through. A colossal metal starfish with a sinister glowing eye fits seamlessly through the star-shaped portal.
Here, as a humor to finally bring me, Startron, out from the mangroves.
The hulking automaton forcibly transmitted through the ship's comms. Adam Lord launched one of the ship's missiles at him to draw his attention from Carol and Corey. As he flew them into the atmosphere of the nearest planet they were orbiting, Startron began releasing swarms of minions. Soon they were imaged from the front by an army of mind-controlled Thectagarians, Green Marvels, and Nova Hunters. They had no options left but to fight. Treebulus fought the assailants while clinging from the outside of the ship alongside Straxa, while Amandu manned the turret. Vortex went straight for Startron, with Vrilora and Coyhete following close behind on the bike. Vrilora stood up in the sidecar with her blade and a rifle, slashing and blasting through each starfish she could, while Vortex cleaved through them with an enlarged shadow blade to make a path for Coyhete. Eventually they made it to his eye. Vortex faced the three of them through the lens, and quickly made it to the central processing unit. Coyhete unloaded every single explosive he had in the bike's storage before setting them to detonate. All of the minions powered off as Startron went out in several large explosions that lit up the night sky to be as bright as noon. As the team was traveling to nowhere for celebratory drinks, Miss Star teleported herself, Green Marvel, and a disheveled Hornet Man onto the ship. After the night was over, Green Marvel and Hornet Man headed back to Earth, while Vortex and Miss Star decided to stay on the team for a while. So, what are we going to call ourselves then? Adam Lord asked.
Treebulus?
That's way too tacky.
How about the Galactic Union of Allies ready to dismantle infernal automatons and neutralize Startron?
Rexa suggested. Adam Lord thought. How about Guardians, for short? Alright, now here's a curveball for you. I bet a lot of you were expecting me to do something like... with like Drax or Mantis or maybe even Adam Warlock, but instead I went with Phyla-Vell. I don't know, I just wanted to throw a curveball in there partially, but also I just wanted another woman on the team, and also... Okay, yeah, I mostly just wanted to throw a curveball, I'm not gonna lie. Now, some of you may be wondering why I decided to choose Obsidian for the DC half. Even though he's not really a space character, but his father is a space character. And, so is Phyla-Vell. So if you can connect the dots, you might be able to guess who Marlon Velt is supposed to be. Let me know in the comments if you can. I'll shut you out in the next video. It's a little thing I do. I usually mention that at the end of the videos, but I'll get back to that. While she definitely isn't my favorite of the video, she was definitely the most fun to do. Especially with like the shadow parts where like the outline's like a bluish color, so I don't have like, like black segments with like black outlines, because that's kind of hard to see. So yeah, that was a little fun. I love doing that little detail. Didn't go like full. I was originally gonna go like a full black silhouette on the black parts, but I decided it was a little too flat, even though it kind of makes sense lore-wise that she would look kind of like 2D, but I thought it made it look a little ugly, so I decided to go back and add some little bit of highlights to the black parts. Give it a little bit of depth. You know, besides that, I feel like I did a pretty good job fusing the two characters. Not really too much to say on that. That on that front, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And yeah, without further ado, we have R.E.B.E.L.S, aka Vortex. And with that, we have the Galactic Union of Allies ready to dismantle infernal automatons and neutralize Startron, also known as the Guardians for short. Also, I did miss Star to the team because Starfire's part of the R.E.B.E.L.S sometimes. So if you want to learn more about her, I'll put a card up at this part of the video if I can remember. Hopefully I do and don't bung that up like last time. And also, at the time of me recording this at 11:02 p.m. on June 15th, 2026, Miscellaneous won the last poll unanimously. The next video is going to be drawing miscellaneous Marvel and DC fusions. Hopefully that'll be out before fall. Then after that video, I'm finally going to get around to doing Invader Society, the true winner of the poll that decided this video. Speaking of polls, it appears that the favorite character of last video was Blizzard. As of June 15th, 11:10 p.m. on 2026 Eastern Standard Time. I'll be doing a similar poll for this video, but do keep in mind it only lets me do 4 characters. So if your favorite's not included, just let me know in the comments of that poll. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's YouTube's fault. Also, just like all of my last videos, if you can guess who any of these characters I didn't draw are supposed to be fusions of, comment down below and I'll give you a shout out in the next video. Or don't. Please let me know if y'all actually like this. I've been doing this since my very first video and I haven't had a single person guess anything yet. Let me know if y'all care for it or not. I'm thinking about getting rid of it. I don't know, just let me know down in the comments. To everyone who's made it this far in the video, I'd like to thank you for watching. My name's DJ, this has been Drawing with DJ, and goodbye and see you later. Goodbye.